Some great animation there.
Amazing.
I don't think I look at my sellotape ever quite the same. Right, our next competition will involve a question about a film coming up soon.
Look, it seems like everybody wants to get a job in the media at the moment, but how do you go about getting that job?
I'm really pleased to say that so many of our students leave this university and go straight into the industry, and in particular television production students land up working on very high profile programmes. Currently I can think of Mario Louis, who's a researcher on The Gadget Show, Katie Walker, who's working on So You Think You Can Dance at the BBC, Gina Randall, who's working on Dancing on Ice for the 4th year running, and Ben Blakey, who's spent last year working at IMG, working on high-profile snooker and football league, and he's currently working for Shine, which is a wonderful television production company working on The Magicians. There's Claire Stubbs, who, with Sophie Cartmel, spent last year working on Big Brother for 9 or 10 months. And Claire has just emailed me to say that she's production secretary at Endemol, the makers of Big Brother. So she's no longer a runner, she's really part of the production team in another capacity. Sophie Cartmel has worked on dozens of productions, mostly by Objective Productions. They make The Peep Show, Derren Brown and The Real Hustle. And after Big Brother, she was also asked back to work at Objective Productions. Colin Finnerty, one of their colleagues, has been freelancing around, working at Fountain Studios, where they shoot Strictly Come Dancing, and he worked on The Cube as well. And he also has done odd days on Big Brother, such as on the auditions, and also on Britain's Got Talent. So really, the roll call goes on, and I'm very pleased to say that it's not just students who've left the university, but students who are currently still at the university who are working in the industry and passing their knowledge from the industry into their studies.
There was a time when most of what you saw on television was studio-based, and even with the advent of kind of new technology, cheaper cameras, cheaper editing systems, you know, more location-based television, studio TV is still kind of the mainstay of, you know, primetime television. You know, you think of your Saturday night primetime TV shows, you think of things like Dancing on Ice, X Factor, Strictly Come Dancing. You know, they still rake in millions and millions of viewers, more so than, say, your kind of location-based documentary shows. So studio television, live television is still relevant. And it's also, you know, very important to the TV industry and the jobs market in the TV industry, because whereas, you know, your documentary location-based shows might employ, you know, 10, 20 people, your studio programs, your live TV programs tend to require many more people to work on them, to get them to air. So, you know, they'll employ 50, 80, 100, more than 100 people just to get that daily or weekly live television program to air. So in terms of the job market as well, for people working in the industry, live television, studio television programming is crucial.
People want to, if we say make it, i.e. get their films out there, then there'll be determination to get there. There'll be an understanding of the world that they have to operate in. There will be excellent research, an inquisitive mind, good ideas, the ability to shape those ideas into a story that will entertain and that will inform.
Hello guys.
Hi.
Peter, if I can just start, obviously we've got some good advice there, and also we heard about some students who have been successful, but how hard is it getting a job in the media and that first job at the moment?
Oh, no one would pretend it's not really difficult. It is something that's going to be a challenge for everybody, not just in the media industries at the moment. The employment market is difficult and people are going to have to really work hard to get that first job, but it's not impossible, and there are ways in which students can build their portfolios and their way of approaching applications that really makes a big difference, and we hope to help students with that.
So how does the university help students get jobs or get work experience?
Well, there are a range of ways that we do that. We are working with a lot of the industry contacts that the tutors have here to set up work placements for students while they're still here, so they can get that sort of, picking up on what Pete was saying, get that all important industry experience before they actually graduate. And also there's opportunities to network. We have a lot of industry speakers coming in as well to talk to students. So again, that helps them get a feel for what the industry is like. And, you know, lots of opportunities for volunteering as well. So if it's not practical for somebody to, you know, do a couple of weeks in London, work experience, then there are lots of things locally that they can do too.
You just mentioned, Peter, that it's harder in all industries, but it is harder in media, isn't it, than anywhere else? It's always been a very competitive world out there in media, and I must say it seems harder now than it was certainly 10 years ago, and maybe even 3 or 4 years ago.
I think it depends on how you look at it. I mean, from one point of view, of course, it is much more competitive, and the skills that students and people going into the industry need to have are much broader now than they would have been. You can't just decide you're going to do one career in the media and that will be it. You need a lot of multi-skilling. But I think also that the media industries themselves have expanded hugely over that time scale, and has been mentioned in the programme before.
Are you referring to online now? I mean, there's a lot of, you know, web-based television or television channels.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
There's so many more ways of distributing media content now that I think the opportunities are there. They are different, and the industry is changing very quickly, and people need to adapt. But I think for students who are really, really clued up about where the industry is going and are keen to get into it, and can demonstrate that real commitment, those opportunities are still there.
They're clearly getting a good lesson here as well at the University of Bedfordshire, because this stuff here looks like TV standard. Is this stuff in the studio all TV standard?
Absolutely, yes. We've made it a level of resource that is going to be directly applicable for students when they put it on their CV that they've worked in these studio spaces with our equipment. That will be recognised by people who are looking to recruit. I mean, the fact that the BBC have used this studio for a live broadcast demonstrates what we can do.
The university promotes its media degree as one that's taught by real life professionals. I mean, how important is that?
I think that's really key because, you know, people who know what the industry is like and can share that sort of knowledge and insight with students.
Up to date, what's happening?
Yes, and have all those industry contacts, because, you know, you need the contacts to bring people in so that students get a real feel for what it's like in different organisations and what, you know, what the market is like out there.
Do you struggle sometimes with, obviously, the press's view on media itself as a degree? Obviously, having been here and experienced all of this, I can tell that these students are really well-educated people, and they've really been educated with such a good basis within media and all the skills that you need, working with expert equipment here. Unfortunately, when it does they go out with that piece of paper which says that they've got a degree in media, a lot of people say, well, what's a degree in media? Everybody seems to be doing it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the real delicious ironies of what we do is that the way in which media studies courses are represented in the media is itself a topic for study for media students. I think we recognise that there are people across society and the industry who have an agenda, and that's pretty clear. But I think ultimately I just believe in that if we build it, they will come. And the quality of our graduates, and we point to case after case after case of people who have come through our courses who could not have gone straight into the industry, have needed the preparation that they've been able to do here, and then go on and really succeed in their careers is a demonstration that ultimately it does work, and people will recognise that.
Don't forget to tweet any questions that you may have for Marie and Pete, and we will ask them the best ones. Now, Marie, you mentioned something earlier that was really interesting, networking. I mean, how important is that in media now, in terms of getting a job?
I think it's key.
It's key.
Yeah, because the bottom line is the majority of vacancies aren't advertised. Anybody who's in the industry will tell you that. So if you are just looking at what's advertised, hundreds and thousands of other people are going to be looking at those same opportunities. And, you know, we've seen it from students who've gone out on placements with different production companies. you know, if they've performed well there and shown what they can do, then they're actually offered sort of paid work on the back of that. And that's how you sort of build those contacts and you know, people knowing about you. So it really is essential.
In September, I stand in front of new first-year students when we're welcoming them into the university. One of the things I say to them is that your career in the media doesn't start when you leave here, it starts today. And now is the time to start building your contacts, start doing that networking now, not when you leave.
I just want to read out a Twitter, just because we gave the opportunity for people to get in here. I've got one here from Dave, Dave on campus. He's saying, what websites or papers should I be looking at to get my first job in the media?
I'd say it's quite good to sign up to Step to Inspire.
Right.
Is that a website?
Yeah, there is a website, and if you follow them on Twitter, there's things coming through all the time about different sort of work experience, particularly within TV. I'd say that's quite a good one to follow and have a look at.
Fantastic.
Okay, well look, thanks so much for coming in, guys. I really appreciate your advice there for the students.